Teaching this course in an online format is kind of challenging for me because there's a lot of things I like to sort of discuss or go over in person that I have a hard time figuring out how to express or discuss in an online forum. And one of those is kind of my sort of closing thoughts that I like to share or discuss at the end of a class. And a lot of it has to do with how we respond individually to some of the stuff we've been studying. And I see a lot of you have already, posted things about how you can imagine or think of changes you'd like to make in your own life based on what we've studied. And I think that's a really valuable takeaway from this class. One of my favorite authors in the world, the history of the world, I guess, is a guy named G.K. Chesterton. And he once talked about our response to God, basically saying that the proper form of thankfulness that we express to God would be some sort of humility and restraint. And he sort of summed that up by saying, we thank God for beer and burgundy, the gifts he gives us, in other words, by not drinking too much of them. And I think that quote really relates to the essence of what I guess I feel when I consider these topics in this class, which is that for thankfulness toward God to really be thankfulness, in a sense, the gifts that we're thankful for, we have to treat with, I guess, respect, which means that our energy resources or our environment or whatever it might be that we're considering, rather than sort of using them up greedily or using them up carelessly or absent-mindedly, there should be some sort of mindfulness in how we interact with the world around us. And I think that's something that's really easy to lose, especially in our sort of modern society where we're so distanced from the actual the actual places where our food is produced or the products that come to us are developed or processed or whatever. So that I think most of us would probably die within a month if Fred Meyer closed. I mean, we're so reliant now upon these sort of worldwide systems that we've sort of lost touch with how we even actually relate to our environment, how we even relate to the world. And we've lost most of the skills that we had a century ago as humans to the industrial economy. We just let, industry take care of that for us. And there's some wisdom in that. There's no point in, doing things inefficiently. But I also think it's caused a certain absent-mindedness and maybe even greediness in terms of how we relate to the resources God has given us. So I hope that you, like me, every time that I approach this topic anew, sort of reconsider, how can I begin to take back some of those skills, or in a sense even sort of reclaim my dignity as a human being by engaging in some simple tasks like canning tomatoes or growing a garden or riding my bike or walking places rather than using a car, which is this requires this enormous global supply chain to produce something. It's sort of way beyond what we can even calculate the externalities or the external costs associated with that. Whereas something like walking, we know what it takes really to get the energy in our bodies to walk or walk to work or whatever it might be. So anyway, those are some of my final thoughts about the class. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you take this text with you or find a way to continue to use it as a reference, because it is a great reference tool. Take care.